All right, hello students, welcome back. This is Mr. Campbell with our first day of Unit 1. This is going to be our first official video lesson that is not involved with the first week procedural syllabus stuff. So very serious lesson here, guys, a little different than what we've done the past few days. We are starting our newest unit, our first unit, which is all about Earth evolution and stability, right? So stability and change of Earth. So what you guys are going to do, hopefully you already have your notebooks. Like I said, a spiral notebook or a composition notebook. Make sure on the front you write Earth Space Science with your name and whatever period you are in. But you need to open the first page and make that first page the table of contents. The title of that page will be what's in this first part right here. The title is Unit 1, Stability and Change of Earth Table of Contents. So go ahead, write that as your title. And then just beneath that, again, like any other table of contents, we're going to have a list of page numbers with what those page numbers are going to include. So you're then below going to write page number 1, Unit 1, Stability and Change of Earth Table of Contents again, but that'll be your first page. And then pages 2 through 3, which is what we're going to start with today, is what is evolution? Now, why are you going to be doing this? Because it's to organize your notes, and it's also for you to be able to easily find things when we have notebook quizzes. So be sure, and you will be turning this in for a grade as well. Your notebook will be a large kind of a project grade near at the end of the quarters and semesters. So make sure you're staying organized. This is a huge integral part of the class. The notebook is so essential. Now with our video lessons, like I've said before, guys, I'm always going to try and keep it roughly 15 minutes. I don't want to talk for too long. Again, my apologies. I know you guys can't see me on the screen. I have some lighting and the camera looked kind of pixelated, so I got to get some settings fixed, and I wanted to make sure I had this video up ready for you guys right away. So again, I'll get to that with our next video lesson. You'll be able to see my face in case you guys are new and fully online. And if not, well, you will be able to see me, but you can always go back to my old videos as well where you see how I did things before. But here we go, table of contents. Have that written down. And again, anytime I go too fast on the video lessons, simply just pause the video, write it all out, and we'll move on. Okay, so yes, we are back. Unit 1, Day 1. We have our Go Blue, and our 3 Go Blue questions are kind of like prior knowledge questions, right? So number 1, what exactly is evolution? Okay. Number 2, what evidence is there to support evolution? And then number 3, how does the Earth evolve? So again, take a moment to pause the video, answer those questions on your own, maybe research them on your own, and like in class, we will discuss them. So please pause the video, write those down, and answer those questions. After you've answered and written those out, again, our procedures in class, which I will post these to our announcements today on Canvas. Again, you're going to be grabbing some documents that you'll be gluing to your notebooks. We're going to be using cards in class to answer practice questions. So again, those will be paper cards, plastic cards. We'll just see how we go about that. And then we've got assigned seat numbers. When you guys walk in on Monday, you will see a seating number list where you will then go ahead and sit in your numbered seat. Okay, and then again, the syllabus, that is our first major assignment, as well as our online syllabus quiz. Again, the syllabus quiz should be done right away, and the syllabus itself should be done that Friday, the next 11th. So again, make sure we get that done promptly. But let's go ahead and discuss the Go Blue. Okay, so we have our 3 questions here. I know a lot of you will have prior knowledge. As for number 1, what exactly is evolution? And just so you know, guys, typically what I'll do is I'll have like an answer page, I think, to make things more kind of illustrated, easy to go along. But just for today, we'll just go ahead and go off my verbal direction here. So evolution is the gradual change of an organism over time due to adaptations in their environment. So again, organisms changing over time due to adaptations with their environment. So for example, if an environment gets less rain and the climate gets drier in an ecosystem, organisms better adapted to drier ecosystems will be reproducing more. Thus, they're going to have more change. And then the next thing I want you to add to number one, as I just said, again, please pause and click the arrow button to hear what I'm saying, is driven by reproduction. So whether organisms reproduce or not is going to be what drives evolution. So again, guys, just for today, we'll go off of my verbal direction, but typically on the next slide, I will show you the text that will provide you kind of concise answers. But again, take what I have to say and kind of bullet it or kind of shorten what I'm saying to make it easier for you. Number two, what evidence is there to support evolution? Lots of evidence. We're going to go over this the next 2 days, okay? First off, fossil evidence is one. We've seen how organisms of similar traits have similar bone structures. So one would be fossils, okay? Another one would be genetics, right? Well, what organism is most closely related to us in genetics? It'd be like the chimpanzee, right? It would be those primates. So that's shown by having such, like I believe it's like a 98 or 99% similarity in DNA pattern, right? So genetics would be another one, okay? Another one would be embryology, right? An embryo is like the earliest stages of an organism when it's in the womb, right? Or in an egg. So we see embryos of similar organisms look extremely similar, right? So embryology. And then let's see what else. Evidence, we have, we said genetics, we said embryology, we said fossils, okay? So just to kind of get all of these down, the paper that you guys, let's see here. No, okay. So the paper that you guys will receive for these notes in class, again, just as you can see here for files. Okay. You're going to go to, now you won't be able to see all of these, but you will be able to see Unit 1 soon. Okay. And if you go to notes, you will see the what is evolution notes, right? So this will be what you'll be getting and filling out in class on Monday. So we have anatomy is obviously another one. So anatomy, guys, again, organisms of similarity, similar genetics and relation have similar features, right? Like primates have opposable thumbs, right? That's why another kind of sign that they're closely related to us. We talked about DNA. So those are just some we could have mentioned. We'll get all the other ones throughout our lesson, but I think as you guys can see here, anatomy, embryology, fossils, genetics, okay, that's a good start for good evolution comparisons there, okay? Another interesting thing regarding anatomy is like, well, whales and dolphins, for example, whales, for example, go back to whales, for example. They're more closely related to sharks, right? Because they're swimming in the ocean. They have the fins. They have all the features. Well, they actually have much more similar bone structure to us mammals than sharks. Sharks have mostly a lot of cartilage, and whales actually have small leg bones that still exist from when they've evolved from land, dogs on land. So we're going to get into all that. Sounds crazy to hear that, but we will get into details of all of that. Just so we're clear as well, in this class, again, for science, I know there's controversial topics like evolution, like the Big Bang Theory. Again, it's not I'm never trying to change beliefs whatsoever. I'm just giving you the neutral point of view of these topics. Whether you agree or disagree with them or not is totally fine. I'm just giving you the neutral science perspective of it. And in no way, shape, or form am I trying to influence any beliefs that you might have, whether it's for or against these ideas. Also, two things we never talk about in class, because we all come from a variety of these things, includes politics and religion. Again, we do not talk about politics and religion in class, and I will discuss that on Monday a little bit when we kind of discuss the syllabus a little bit. Okay, again, trying to keep things quick. Do not want to go on too long for today. Okay, so after the table of contents, and kind of answering our Go Blues. Oh, did I skip some questions? Okay, my bad. So how does the Earth evolve? One last question really quick. Well, the Earth evolves in its climate, right? So we have the Earth warming up or cooling down. For example, the Ice Age, right? The plates and the continents are moving. So I would say another one would be, so climate change. We could also say continental drift. The continents are shifting and moving around, right? So be on the lookout. That's another thing to look at, right? So the surface of the Earth is changing all the time. The climate of the Earth is changing, okay? So those are two main ways we're going to see the Earth evolve. All right, so let's go ahead. We will usually, every lesson, have video breaks, obviously. So with those videos, we have what are called video questions, okay? Video questions. You're going to write these down on page 2. So again, you should have written down the syllabus on page 1. Not the syllabus, the table of contents on page 1. And then you should have just written what's in blue. Again, only write what's in blue. When you see all this, only write what's in blue. You don't need to write the yellow and the red down here. That's just to give you directions, okay? And then we're going to move on just under the Go Blue and your answers to these video questions, okay? I think we're only going to go to the first video today. Again, it's going to be your responsibility to watch all of the first video. I'm only going to show a clip of it, because if I show all of it, YouTube will mess with my videos and do, you know, the copyright stuff. So I'm just going to show a little bit of it. It'll be your responsibility to watch all of it to answer these questions. Because why? Well, Go Blues and video questions are so important because a lot of the times I copy these questions and put them on our notebook quizzes, right? So if you want to ace and do awesome on our notebook quizzes, make sure you write all these questions down. Make sure you answer them. That way you do fantastic on the notebook quiz, and then your grades great, and you're doing great from there. So number 1, what causes longer neck giraffes to continue surviving, right, compared to shorter neck giraffes? Okay, a lot of you probably already know the answer there. 2, what is survival of the fittest and what drives it? Again, guys, this first unit, in my opinion, is the easiest unit. It's really simple. A lot of his stuff we learned about in biology freshman year. So it's just kind of a quick recap of some old stuff, right? Before we delve into the Earth and then the space stuff. And then 3, what are 5 body parts that are now useless to us that have been left over from evolution? A really cool topic there, okay? So again, pause this video, write those questions down. Let's go ahead and check out our only video of the day, which is gonna be a TED Ed video. And I'm just gonna show you a minute of this to kind of give you an idea. But again, why do longer neck giraffes keep surviving, and what is survival of the fittest? Let's check it out.
Myths and misconceptions about evolution. Let's talk about evolution. You've probably heard that some people consider it controversial, even though most scientists don't. But even if you aren't one of those people, and you think you have a pretty good understanding of evolution, chances are you still believe some things about it that aren't entirely right. Things like, evolution is organisms adapting to their environment. This was an earlier, now discredited theory of evolution. Almost 60 years before Darwin published his book, Jean-Baptiste Lamarck proposed that creatures evolve by developing certain traits over their lifetimes, and then passing those on to their offspring. For example, he thought that because giraffes spent their lives stretching to reach leaves on higher branches, their children would be born with longer necks. But we know now that's not how genetic inheritance works. In fact, individual organisms don't evolve at all. Instead, random genetic mutations cause some giraffes to be born with longer necks, and that gives them a better chance to survive than the ones who weren't so lucky.
So that pretty much answers our first question, right? Again, hey, I'm human, right? Even I said earlier, organisms adapting to their environment, but it's how you interpret that saying, right? So organisms don't adapt through physical changes in their lifetime. I can't just stretch my neck and I automatically am just taller, or the giraffe is automatically a longer neck giraffe, okay? It's going to be driven through, like I said, reproduction. And what's going to give those desirable traits? I didn't mention this earlier. We need to have this written down. Genetic mutation. So what causes longer neck giraffes to continue surviving? They're better adapted to their environment and reaching their food source. That is the taller trees. The longer neck you have, the more food you'll be able to eat, the more likely you're able to survive. And this is driven through, again, genetic mutations, which are random changes in genes, right? Kind of like how maybe you have a sibling and they may have randomly been, maybe they have a random trait that looks nothing like you or is nothing similar to you, right? Like my brother, like for instance, for me, I'm a brunette and I have brown eyes. My brother, he's blonde and has blue eyes, right? So again, totally random. But if it's for like for animals where they need to survive, maybe I survive better, or my brother doesn't, or vice versa, for whatever reason, right? So that's again genetic mutations, and it's going to be driven through reproduction due to longer necks being able to get more food from their environment. Okay, so go ahead and answer number 2 on your own. Again, we may discuss those for Go Blue tomorrow. All right, so just to keep things concise, I am just going to go over in our notes, in those fill in the blanks. Again, you need to take that sheet and print it out or write these as raw notes on page 3. That sheet I showed earlier, let me go back to it here. Get under files. Again, this is going to go to page 3, and we're going to get to probably halfway, all the way, just right to here, and then stop for the day. Okay. All right. So theory of evolution. So any change in the heritable traits within a population across generations, all living things in Earth share a common ancestor. That's that archaic bacteria, that very simplified unicellular bacteria, which we'll get into another day. But yeah, so go ahead, just these 2 bullet points. If you don't want to print that sheet out, if you just want to write the notes from scratch, you can do that. And you can see that right here and pause the video as we go along. But again, we've seen plenty of evidence for evolution regarding the genetics, the DNA, and the physical traits. All these things we're going to go over in detail today and tomorrow. So what organisms are more related to us than others? Obviously, as I said earlier, primates, they have opposable thumbs. They're able to stand on their limbs, or two hind legs sometimes. Again, all these lines of evidence supporting those similarities. Okay. Is evolution random? Is it random? Pause. What do you think? Yes or no? Okay. Evolution is not random because the environment is selecting, nature is selecting traits, right? So like we have selection with dogs, right? We select, like for dog breeds, oh, I want this breed of dog. Like maybe you want a husky. Oh, it's got to have these coat colors. So you breed, we select those traits so the husky looks a certain way. Or certain, say like the Chihuahua, right? Oh, I want a Chihuahua with this coat color or this and that. So we are selecting. In the same way we select traits in dogs, nature selects traits in animals, okay? Or in plants, this and that. Simply for survival, whether it be surviving the climate, surviving predators, surviving the environment, right? So again, it's never random. The only thing random is the mutations. Again, a mutation is a random change in DNA, and sometimes these random changes in DNA, when an organism reproduces, can be randomly just very beneficial. So maybe a few giraffes randomly had longer necks because, again, giraffes evolved from prehistoric horses. They're basically like, think of giraffes as like giant horses with long necks. They're basically long neck horses. Okay. But those few long neck horses like kept surviving and reproducing. So you ended up having a bunch of long neck horses that all kept reproducing, and eventually you had a new species called the giraffe. That's evolution, and that's where it can be random, but in totality, it is not random. So again, make sure you're writing these down in your notebooks on page 3. Okay. Oh, I already showed the videos and we went over some of the questions. So again, make sure you've got that down. Independent evidence. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep things, oh, you know what, we'll good. Okay. So just so quickly to end the day, some lines of evidence include comparative anatomy, right? So we're going to compare the structures of the organisms, whether it be the legs, the arms, the bones, right? The facial features. We call these homologous structures. We'll get into those another day. Embryology, an embryo, the earliest stages of an organism. Okay. Fossil record. We're going to go over what are called vestigial structures. Okay. DNA comparison, right? So we saw that primates have the most similar DNA pattern to us, so we see those similarities. Species distribution, how an organism is spread out throughout an environment, right? Where they're located. And then we can actually see evolution in real time with some smaller organisms that reproduce very quickly as well, like flies, for instance. And then predictive power evolution. So that, and lastly, hierarchies of traits as well, how they get passed down over time. So these are some of the main lines of evidence that you will need to know. And again, what you are going to do, you are going to write those all down on these bullet points. Okay? All written down on these bullet points. So let's go ahead, end the day with a quick question. I'm going to skip that part. Oh, okay. Quick question. Oh, I hope you guys don't see the answer from there, but just to end the presentation for today. Again, you guys will see me on Monday. You'll see me on the screen if you're my 6th period on Monday, no worries, okay? Evolution is a random process directed by natural selection. A, true, or B, false. So this is where you are going to raise your card and show me what letter you selected, so I get an idea as to how well you knew the content and know the questions. A, true, B, false. Think about it. Take a guess in your mind or answer it if you know it. Okay, answer me false. It's not random. Okay, false, not random. Okay, guys, that concludes our video lesson for today. All right, I will post this to Canvas. It's always on my YouTube channel as well. Again, today is all about setting up your notebook, getting a feel for procedures. I'll go over this stuff very, very quickly and briefly again. But again, it'll be on Monday, but it'll be your responsibility to go back and watch this video to get the full lesson itself. All right. So again, I'm going to work on making my video lesson shorter. Sorry if this went above 20 minutes. And again, if you have any questions, message me on Canvas or leave me a voicemail on the Google Voice. And I will see you guys on Monday. Take care and have a great weekend.